The minor tests were certainly not minor. They'd like you to believe that they were of little significance in the big overall picture. And while they were named minor, they became the major source of contamination at Maralinga. With the small explosions in the minor trials, they went into the air about 3,000 metres, quite a way up. Well, they took up into the atmosphere, the wind took it wherever it was blowing, whichever direction, but they usually was pretty accurate in getting where the wind was taking it initially, but after it was gone away from where they were testing, say 50 kilometres, they couldn't care less where it went, so long as it never contaminated the area where they were working. For instance, the heavy fallout from the plutonium that was used in them, they found no trouble. You could go out 90 miles away, so 150 kilometres away, it was no trouble. You didn't have to search very much to find. You didn't have to search at all. Predominantly it went east or southeast. That's the weather pattern. In Australia, our weather emanates from the west. Now, it would have took it right across past Cooper Pedy, probably south of Cooper Pedy by a long way on some occasions, might have went north of Cooper Pedy, and it would have went right down as low as Port Augusta. And Woomera being in its path, it would have went right across hundreds and hundreds of kilometres past where people live. And there's little doubt in my mind that Woomera, back in the end of the 50s and early 60s, would have received a fair bit of that contamination. When I was there in 62, 3 and 4, there was 6,500 people lived at Woomera. And there was a lot of babies born there. That's where I met my wife initially. She was in charge of the hospital as a nursing sister, and she was a midwife. And the long and the short of it was that these babies died in pretty high numbers for a little town of 6,000 people odd. If you think about it, there had to be some reason. The percentage of the mortality among 1,000 births, why was it so high at Woomera? There had to be some reason, but that reason was never looked into. It was covered up. And then there was people in the bloody Liberal government that said, oh well, it was probably bad mothers that caused their death. You know, I mean, it was reminiscent of the black mist from the big bombs, and when Yummy Lester's mob at Wallatinna and Wellborn Hill Station, when the kids died there from the 2 emu bombs that was exploded near them. Oh well, they said it was probably a measles epidemic. Well, there was no measles epidemic. So again, the government just gave an excuse. They gave a reason as an excuse for what might have happened. So there's the story right to this day, that they're never going to recognise that they were the cause, not might have been the cause, they bastards were the cause of this death and destruction of human life. They cared nothing about human life.